Hello guys. Today we are gonna be talking about scatter and the difference between scatter system in geometry nodes in Blender and Houdini, right? As you know from my previous video, I'm newbie in Houdini. I'm learning Houdini, and I don't have that much knowledge. I'm actually learning, so I'm the very first stages of learning this software. But I have a knowledge in Blender geometry nodes, and in this level I can compare both for what I've learned. Okay, and I think it's interesting. Come with me and give me your thoughts in the comments. And let's go. Okay, here's Blender, right? The way you scatter something here is, let me just choose landscape with extras, no extras. Where is that landscape? Here. Okay, just want to show you this, right? This is the geometry node tab editor, right? So here we go. Let's do something like this. Okay, so for scatter something here in Blender, I need to create geometry nodes, and I need first to create these three build points on faces, right? So now I have a bunch of points on my face. Let's just make it bigger. So I have all these points on my face, right? And next I need to uh, turn the points into instances on points, right? And now I'm gonna tell what I want, what instances. So I'm gonna create a cube. I'm gonna do the same in Houdini, so you know more or less. Okay, instance on points. So each point became an instance. Now I'm gonna join the geometry. So I have my landscape and I have my instances. I can control the scale of my instances here, right? And the rotation of my instances are actually now following the world, so it's not actually taking account the normals of my geometry. If I wanted to take into account the normals of my geometry, I have to connect rotation to rotation. So now each cube is following the rotation of my geometry, right? So if I want to rotate them on any axis, I will do some math here, or I would cast rotate instances here, right? And then I will be able to rotate them on the axis. Okay, that makes sense. And if I want to randomize the rotation, okay, I can put it here, random value, and it will tell me that the rotation will be random, and I can choose are the which are the axes that I will have it random. Okay, so that's it. That's the basic level of scattering something in Blender, right? If I want to play around with the scale uh, and randomize the scale, I also can copy here, and instead of, let's use floats, because I don't wanna pick up any axis individually, so I don't need vector. A float value is more than enough. So I would have some variation for the scatter size of my geometry. You see, it's pretty easy in Blender. I think that's very easy to do, right? If I don't want the things to intersect, I have to go here, and instead of having distribution face random, I can have poison disks, and then I can set up distances, okay? And depending on the distances that I did, it will never intersect the point, okay? Here we go. Simple like that. I think it's easy. It's nice the way it is in Blender. That's the amount of nodes to get here, right? Let's go to Houdini, which I'm gonna show you how to do that. Oh, we don't have the landscape now. Let's cast geometry here. Let's change this background and put it something more similar of what we have it in my Blender. Okay, inside the geo, let's cast a grid. We are gonna create our own landscape, right? In Blender, I got the landscape because I had that model there already on Blender library. Okay, and the grid, now we are gonna make this room something like 100 here and 100 here, so I have kind of cool. Let's bring a mountain node, okay, and that's our mountain node. I'm not gonna go crazy here, right? Let me do positive, and I'm not gonna go crazy. I will play around a little bit with the fractal of maybe sparse convolution or something like that. I can play around with the something to make it kind of more obvious, right? Maybe change the element size or something like this. Anyway, let's make this and this way so we have something that it's noisy. Okay, so that's the place where we are gonna scatter the thing. So now let's create a cube here. Okay, that's a simple box, right? And we have our mountain. Now what we need the scatter, right? The scatter points on the surface, which in Blender would be the distribute points on faces, right? In here, we will go and do the scatter. And we're gonna use the scatter and align, right? So now we have our points. I hope you guys can see that on our faces, right? Let's increase this coverage of the points, right? And here is a bit different the way you set up the points, right? On your geometry to make them larger, okay? So what we can do is we can set up here, okay, and make it more or less points here and here, okay? But here we're gonna play around with the scatter of the object. Houdini by default, it avoids to intersect the object. It's not like Blender that you have to set up that option. He's already here. And the way you can see that is basically putting some object on it. For that, we will go and copy 2 points. We are going to make a copy of an object to these points, okay? So in this case, let's go back. Let's bring this guy here, the box. Let's put the box here. and in the points. So now we have our boxes in the points, and instead of go as Blender, let me just uh, merge the two objects, the copied object and the main geometry. So now we can see both. So for the main geometry, we can use a color just to distinguish both. Color node, and we can use it brown. Okay, so now we can see better what's going on. Okay, so copy to points here is the same as instances on points, right? It's gonna tell the object is in that point, right? Which object is in that point, and for this object, basically Houdini scatters not instancing, but it copies all the objects. To make them instances, you just have to pack here instances. So now it's much faster in the viewport. You couldn't notice this here, but if it was a different geometry, not a cube, but a tree or something like that, you would notice right away the difference on slowing down in the viewport, right? And yeah, this is the basic setup here in Houdini. And whatever you do, you would go for the scatter and define here all the alignment, right? The alignment, now in the rotation, it's following the normals. So it's basically it's creating the same thing as you connect rotation here, right? Is doing this by default, but you can always put them on Y direction, right? For example, if you blend normal with Y, in Houdini, the up is Y, not Z, like Blender, okay? So that's pretty much it, and you can kind of change it here, the amount of uh, it's pointing towards up, comparing with the normals. You can blend them here, right? And also you can rotate the instances, right? You can randomize the rotation here, okay? And let me see if this changed here. No, towards direction on Z. That's how you can randomize them. And you can play around with the angle here. You see, randomizing on Y direction, right? Minimal angle and maximum angle, right? And you can offset all of them at once. So basically, that's all. So in Blender, you have to add the nodes here, right? Rotate instances, random value, or you can add some math here, right? And random value on scale as well. To do the things here in Houdini is all inside the scatter alignment, okay? And also you have that in the scale, so you can randomize the scale of your object doing something like this, okay? And automatically Houdini is kind of fitting all the objects in order to not have any intersection between the objects. So if you change the coverage, you start to remove objects, right, from your uh, plane scattered. uh, you can change the seed also here, and you can uniform scale means that you're gonna cast more points on that, but they will be reduced in size, right? Because uh, they are gonna be they are gonna be trying to avoid any intersection. Okay, so if you put, for example, 0.5, look at that. You see, you have a bunch of points, but none of them are really intersecting between them. In, they are not intersecting. Okay, so you can go here and remove the points that are overlapping. The points that are overlapping and other points, you can relax the interactions so they become more even, close together, or remove the relaxation. Okay, you can use this, avoiding constraint point, emergency limit, right? Let's bring it back to the average. And yeah, that's it, guys. I think that's, you have a couple more options here that will change the way you distribute the objects, right? It Those are all depending on this spacing between the objects, you know. It's different ways of distributing your objects on your scene. Okay, and if you don't care about any intersecting, you just distributing the amount of points. Oh no, this is also caring about intersecting. I'm still newbie, so I don't know that much about how to get them intersecting each other, but because Houdini avoids that by default. Okay, and that's pretty much it, right? I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys find this interesting. I don't see there is no much benefits on Houdini over Blender on this, or in Blender over Houdini, because basically what I'm seeing here we can achieve also here. And I think here you can even I don't know, if you want something, if you want, I prefer the I prefer to have the interaction overlapping the default by default, and then you control it. But yeah, because maybe you have grass and you want grass to intersect a little bit or things like that. I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But what I don't like in this setup here in Houdini is because, for example, here in Blender, if you start to crank these guys up, you will have a bunch of objects here, all of them intersecting each other, right? And yeah, that's gonna be it. But they will remain the same size. And here in Houdini, somehow because Houdini tries to make them not intersecting each other, it reduces the size of the objects, right? If you reduce this a lot, it will be lots of small objects on your scene. Okay, and maybe that's not what you want. Okay, I you have an option, probably, because I don't know yet, but you probably have an option even here to scale them up and not make them scale down, but I don't know yet. I'm still studying, but I would rather that not be the behavior, the very first behavior, right? But those are the differences. Let me know what you guys think about it, and click OK in the link below if you like it. If you don't like it, click on the thumbs down, and see you my next video. I'm gonna be doing once in a while this comparison between Blender and Houdini, because now I'm studying Houdini. and I kind of liking it, but I'm assuming it will help me even to go further on Blender geometry nodes. If you are interested on some of my tools, check it out, the links below, and see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.